The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Football news agency The 72 have attempted to predict Pompey's starting 11 at Charlton.
John SINEW confirmed, speaking to the press earlier this week, that Harvey Blair will be in contention to make the squad on Saturday. Blair was hit with a hamstring injury on the last day of last season. A summer of rehabilitation saw him make 2 substitute appearances against Watford and Middlesbrough before he got injured again. Andre Dizel will also miss the game against Charlton Athletic due to suspension. The midfielder picked up his 5th yellow card of the season against Bristol City. Left-backs Conor Ogilvie and Jacob Farrell remain sidelined. Connor Shaughnessy is also still out. Predicted 11: Schmid, Swanson, Knight, Poole, Williams, Pack, Swift, Lang, Sagičić, Murphy. Bishop Portsmouth will likely only make 1 change from their defeat at home against Bristol City. Dizel's suspension means the midfield will have to be changed for SINEW's side. Nicola Schmid came back into the team after a period of time on the sideline, and will continue to be Pompey's number 1. The backline will likely remain unchanged. Terry Devlin, returning from suspension, may come back into the side at fullback. However, SINEW may retain his trust in Jordan Williams and Zach Swanson. A big decision will be made in midfield for Portsmouth due to the suspended Andre Dizel. Luke Leroux, John Swift and Mark Kuznowski are options in that position, but the former has not been in a matchday squad since Pompey played Hull City in early November, and the latter has featured in a more advanced role, so it will likely be Swift who makes the start. Josh Murphy and Callum Lang will continue in the wide areas, providing width and dynamism, but Yang Min Hyuk and the fit-again Blair are options. Adrian Sagičić will operate in behind the striker. Colby Bishop will likely spearhead the attack despite only scoring 1 goal in 18 this season for Pompey.
If they're right, then fans will be discussing from 11:30 a.m. onwards, 12:30 kickoff, whether or not there's something seriously going wrong with Connor Chaplin, who should be Pompey's man of the season because of his track record, because of his proven championship quality, and yet he's just nowhere to be seen. John Swift coming back into the side, a lot of people will say he also has something to prove, but the only way you can prove it is on the pitch, and he gets to be on the pitch. At least he gets to be on the starting 11, according to the 72. The one issue that we would take up with them is their suggestion that Terry Devlin starts on the bench. We find that very unlikely. We think that of all our right backs, he is possibly our best bet, although Williams would have a few things to say about that. And Swanson has done a pretty good job, hasn't he, when he's had to stand in as a fullback? Pretty good job, but he's no Terry Devlin. So we would say that prediction is exciting, it's interesting, it's a good set of talking points, but the only change that we would make to it, and it's a big one, and we would really stick out for this one, is Terry Devlin back in the starting 11. Yes? You can have a go if you want. You've got until kickoff. Our email address is radiopompey@gmail.com. radiopompey@gmail.com.
London sports news agency London World is saying this about the Charlton v Pompey clash.
Charlton Athletic look to bounce back from 4 straight defeats against Portsmouth at the Valley. Charlton Athletic manager Nathan Jones must stop the rot at the Valley this weekend, ahead of the busy festive fixture period when Portsmouth visit the London outfit. The Addicks have suffered defeats to Wrexham, Southampton, Stoke City and Coventry City in their last 4, after a promising start to the campaign following promotion from League One. Charlton Athletic have now sunk to 17th in the division. This weekend, 22nd place Portsmouth make the trip to the Valley, and are buoyed by news that winger Harvey Blair could make his first appearance since early October as he bounces back from an injury. Pompey manager John SINEW has tipped the forward to have the potential to reach the Premier League, but only if he can stay fit. Blair has made just 2 cameo appearances in the Championship so far this term, having also struggled with injuries last term. On Wednesday, SINEW said, Harvey Blair should be back and will most likely challenge for a place in the squad.
We mustn't be expecting too much of this boy. He's coming back from injury. He might be 100% fit and showing it all in training, but it's going to be in the back of his mind, especially when the manager is making an important point, which is that the most important thing at the moment for him is to stay fit. Not quite sure how the player achieves that. If he wasn't trying to achieve that before, then why not? And if he is going to try and achieve that from now on, what's he going to be doing differently? So there's a slight air of confusion or mystery, if you like, about that. I don't think we should be expecting him to be an immediate match winner, of course, and I doubt whether he'll start. It would be exciting, but I think he's destined for the bench, to start on the bench, as we say. But the other interesting thing to come out of that piece is the reminder that Charlton are struggling. They've lost their last 4 games on the trot, and they're starting to look slightly out of place in this league. They're not far off where we were this time last year, wondering whether getting into the Championship is going to be all it was cracked up to be at the time, wondering whether they're slightly out of their depth. They're no doubt on the phone day and night to clubs trying to buy in the January window or borrow in the January window. So it could be, and if you listen to Steve Bone elsewhere on Pompey Sound or his excellent podcast, you'll hear him speculating that it is a bad time to play Charlton because they will be up for it. Teams are often at their most dangerous when you imagine that because of recent performances, they're at their least dangerous. A good point, well made by Steve Bone. And as I said, you can hear his podcast by going to Pompey Sound podcasts and look for the podcast beginning with the word Steve.
Charlton have previewed the game and say this about both teams. Nathan Jones gave an update on the fitness of his squad in his pre-match press conference. The gaffer said, "We're getting people back now. The Amari Bell injury isn't as bad as we first thought, and Harvey was taken off on Saturday as a precaution. Charlie Kelman and Reece Burke are close to returning. Josh Edwards and Matty Godden are the ones that we're hampered by. Harvey Blair hamstring could return for the visitors this weekend, though Connor Ogilvie, knee, Connor Shaughnessy, hamstring, Jacob Farrell, groin, Franco Umer, hamstring, and Thomas Waddingham, quad, are all sidelined. Andre Dazelle is suspended, having collected 5 yellow cards. The opposition, Pompey, currently sit 22nd in the Sky Bet Championship table, having taken 17 points from their opening 18 fixtures. John Mousinho's men travel to the capital on the back of a 1-0 defeat at home to Bristol City last time out, head-to-head. Portsmouth are Charlton's most played opponents, with the sides having locked horns on 114 previous occasions. The Uddicks have won 40 of those, with Pompey winning 44 and the remaining 30 encounters ending in draws. The last meeting between the two sides ended in a goalless draw at the Valley back in February 2024. Match officials. Matthew Donoghue will take charge of proceedings on Saturday. Donoghue will be assisted by Matthew Smith and Darren Williams, while David Rock will be the 4th official.
Yeah, it was interesting to know that we've played Charlton more than any other team. I suppose if you sat down with a piece of paper and tried to work it out, you'd probably have Charlton on your shortlist, because we've tended to be in the same division as them on so many occasions. However, 114 times and honours about even, 40 to them, 44 to us. So there are no clues to be had there. There is one small thing that's worth pointing out about this upcoming game, and that is that we find it very difficult to win. Well, we find it very difficult to win, but we find it very difficult to win when the kick-off is anything other than 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I believe I'm right in saying, I was told by somebody close to the club who had had a chance to look at the stats and work this one out, that we have 4 wins out of 4 when playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. When we're playing at 12:30 here or 8 o'clock there or on a Friday or on a Sunday, results don't tend to go with us. How that can possibly be is a matter for fortune tellers and witches, frankly, or wizards, frankly. However, it is a factor that could be worth building into the equation. Also, we haven't been very good on television for quite some years, and so many of our games now are televised. In fact, practically all of them are. That could have something to do with it, but I doubt it. And on Matt Donoghue, I beg his pardon, who is the referee on Saturday, the interesting tidbit about him that you may wish to just have up your sleeve is that he is one of the few referees who has taken and passed the PGMO's enhanced VAR training programme, acting as VAR for a number of games in the top flight. All together now. Boo. Boo.